We'll get started in just a couple minutes. Kate, let me know when you're good. Sweet. Hey everybody, welcome. Before we get going, if everybody doesn't mind, would you please edit your name to include your name if you want to include your pronouns and your bookstore or publisher. It helps with questions later on. Get started in just a minute. Danny, I saw you had an interesting morning this morning.
Yeah, everything seemed to happen all at once. The car had to get towed, and the phones and internet's broke, and my wife got locked out of the house. It was just one of those mornings. Everything happened at once.
Yeah.
We're good. Things settled down. We're good.
Good. All right, we are right at one, so let's get going. Welcome, everybody. I'm Larry Law. I'm the Executive Director of the Great Lakes Independent Booksellers Association. I'm joined today by Carrie Obrey, the Executive Director of Midwest Independent Booksellers Association, and Kate Scott, the Program Manager for MEBA. This is our fourth Heartland Summer Rep Picks, so thank you all for joining us today. I wanted to mention this event today will be recorded, as with all of our past events. It'll be available on heartlandfallforum.org. Yesterday's education session with Ingram is already live on the website, so you can check that out. And tomorrow's events, our 10 author Meet the Authors event, will also be recorded and available on our website at the end of this week. Please feel free to share that with any of your booksellers that couldn't attend. Share it as far and wide as you want. The more people see it, the better. I want to thank our participating publishers and reps today. We have Dave Ehrlich and John Mesjak from Chronicle Books and Abraham Associates, Sarah Rockett from Sleeping Bear Press, Aaron Howe from IPG, Deb Robertson from Gibson House Press, John Tewsley from Ingram Content Group, Michael Lutz from Phoenix International Publications. So thank you all for joining us. Wanted to quickly mention that Voice of the Heartland, our Voice of the Heartland Award, is open to publisher and bookseller nominations. That is available through this Friday to nominate. So please visit heartlandfallforum.org to nominate. Format for today, it's going to be run similar to our past rep picks. Each rep has 8 minutes. At 1 minute 2, I will notify them they have a minute. They'll be screen sharing and showing PowerPoints and Edelweiss collections. Don't worry about writing that down. In the chat, I'm going to share publisher info and a link to the Edelweiss collection. As well, all of that information will be on the Heartland Fall Forum website under the Rep Picks tab. As well, this Friday, we send out a week wrap-up of all the this week's events and links to the Edelweiss collection. So look out for that. That being said, I'm going to kick this off with Dave Ehrlich and John Mesjak from Chronicle Books and Abraham Associates.
Hey all, I just thought I'd start as I start screen sharing here by mentioning that Dave might be new to you guys. He's based in Los Angeles. He started out working at Rizzoli and BNN before being the book buyer at Mocha, Los Angeles, and Virgin Megastores. And he's been a Chronicle rep for 11 years on the West Coast. So Dave, we're gonna go with you first.
Okay, thanks for the intro, John, and thanks for having me here today and everybody watching. The first title I'm going to cover today is one that we're all really excited about in-house at Chronicle, and that is Dolly Parton, Songteller. This is going to be a $50 hardcover, and this has an on-sale date of November 17th. This is the ultimate treasure trove of Dollyana. This was created and assembled in conjunction and collaboration with the Queen of Country herself, and there are handwritten lyric sheets included, memorabilia, all kinds of artifacts and personal photos from Dolly's very own archives. Many of these have never been seen or published before. And in her own words, she explains the inspiration and the background behind some of her most beloved and popular songs over the years. I feel like Dolly's appeal is timeless. She's really cross-generational, and with this acclaimed Dolly Parton's America podcast happening now, and her new holiday special coming later this year, her fan base just continues to grow. I think this just really gives anybody that loves her kind of an insider's view of how she created these songs and all these amazing kind of elements that combine to tell these stories. And really my big pitch this season has been, I think with so much division and strife in the country right now, one thing that we can all really agree on together is that we all love Dolly. And she is full of so much sweetness and light and heart. And I think this is something that everybody can use right now. So very excited and very happy to be selling this book. And on to you, John.
Yeah, we're going in a different direction here. We were all a little surprised last fall by how well John Lithgow's first book for Chronicle, Dumpty, performed. It was a New York Times bestseller. Lots of stores that I work with here in the Midwest sold a lot of copies. He's back with a follow-up, Trumpty Dumpty Wanted a Crown, and it attempts to skewer everything in Trump world over the last year. Trump's impeachment, his mishandling of the coronavirus pandemic, his mishandling of this summer's Black Lives Matters protests, Mitch McConnell, Bill Barr, Jared Kushner, and more. Chronicle is running a pre-order campaign right now. There's a few copies left of signed copies. Any store that orders 5 or more can get signed copies sent to them. And stores that order 12 or more will get access to a video that John is going to create telling fans to order direct through indie stores. I'm going to put a link in the chat when I'm done talking with a sheet about the pre-order campaign. Dave, it's you.
Okay. The next title I'm presenting here is from our imprint under Chronicle, Princeton Architectural Press, and this is called We Are Santa by award-winning photographer Ron Cooper. This is a visual profile of 50 different professional Santas from across America, featuring before and after transformation photos, biographical sketches of each Saint Nick, and stories, quotes, and Christmas memories from these bearded bringers of Yuletide joy. Just as Humans of New York captures the lives of everyday people, We Are Santa celebrates the humanity of these everyday Santas.
From Levine Carrito, which is oh,
did we lose you, John? Yeah, I think we lost. I think John froze.
Oh, bummer, and I can't control the slides from my end. Do we want to give him a minute?
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot him a message.
We could save it for the end.
Yeah, Dave, do you want to continue with yours, or do you want to, we can pause it and come back to you guys. You guys still have about 4 minutes left.
Can you pause it and come back so we have the slides concurrent with what we're, because I don't have the slides from my end.
Yeah, that's fine.
John's controlling that.
We'll go on to the next rep, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay,
once
thanks,
John
Larry.
gets back in. Yep. Sorry about that, everybody. Next up, we have Sarah Rockett from Sleeping Bear Press.
Hi everyone, so I'm Sarah Rockett. I'm actually an editor with Sleeping Bear Press, so I'm excited to have a chance to chat with you guys today. I don't often have a chance to present our titles, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, let me get this started for you. Okay. So we're Sleeping Bear Press, meaningful stories for young readers. We do picture books, middle grade novels, and these are some of the stories that we're super excited about this season. Our first one is Acoustic Rooster's Barnyard Boogie, starring Indigo Blume. This one we're super excited about, Kwame Alexander, which is thrilling for us to have him back on our list. This year, his book won the Caldecott Medal, a Newbery Honor, and the Coretta Scott King Illustrator Award. He's also won the Newbery for The Crossover, his middle grade novel that came out a handful of years ago. Acoustic Rooster's Barnyard Boogie, starring Indigo Blume, is the story of Indigo, who just realized her performance at the community festival is going to be attended by hundreds, thousands, millions of people, and she's totally freaking out. As she falls asleep, she's transported to Acoustic Rooster's farm for a lesson in bravery, showmanship, and believing in yourself. She also teaches the animals a thing or two about teamwork and problem solving. But will she rock the festival? Spoiler alert, she does. So this is Kwame Alexander, the follow-up to his first book with us, Acoustic Rooster. We're really excited to have this one back on our list. It comes out later this week. This one is also actually based on a musical that is going to be performed at the Kennedy Center next year. I believe it's kind of been put on hold because of COVID, but that will be coming out. We're going to be teasing some YouTube videos with the performers singing song numbers from the musical. So those will be available on YouTube via our Instagram and social media accounts, and also via Kwame Alexander's. So this is one we're super excited about to have another one with Kwame on the list. The next one we have is T is for Thor, a Norse mythology alphabet. This is by Virginia Lowe Hagen, illustrated by Torstein Nordstrand. Otherworldly landscapes, thundering soundtracks, epic battles between superhero gods and monsters. The movies and books have turned Norse mythology into popular commercial entertainment in recent years. But there's a lot more to this mythic universe. We take readers beyond the movie screen and into the world of Scandinavian mythology. We examine Thor, Odin, Heimdall, and the famous Valkyries, as well as explaining and introducing other inhabitants of this 9-realm universe. I don't know if you guys are familiar with our alphabet series, but it includes a poem on the main page, as well as some ancillary material in each sidebar to help readers go a little bit deeper. The illustrations in this are super cinematic, really fun. So I think that it will appeal to children, but also people who are just into this mythology, into the superhero movies, things like that. It's a beautiful, strong book. Okay. Our next one is Unicorn Yoga. Super cute title with clear, easy to follow instructions. A unicorn yogi, along with 2 novice but eager students, leads readers through a 10-pose class. There's kid-friendly back matter that provides additional information on yoga, tips on mindfulness, and encouraging young readers to develop their own daily practice. This one is really fun, beyond just kids being super into unicorns these days. It also really helps with mindfulness and breathing exercises and kind of centering yourself in these very weird times that I think kids are also obviously picking up on the anxiety. So this one is really great and timely in that regard as well. So super cute, really practical for kids these days. The illustrator for this is Jennifer Sattler, who does a series of word books with us as well. Her illustrations are really cute and friendly. Okay, our next one is A Girl Like You. This one is a sequel to our book from last fall titled A Boy Like You. That one kind of challenged male stereotypes. This one looks at all the different ways to be a girl, but also challenges girls to stand up for themselves, speak out, and surround themselves with positive friendships. All things girls often struggle with. My favorite nugget in this book, I don't know if you guys had seen the previous one, but it's kind of a collection of little nuggets of advice for readers. My favorite one in this is to say you're sorry when you need to, but not to make a habit of saying sorry for no reason. I think that a lot of girls and women, that's something that really resonates with them. So it's great to get that piece of advice in young and in such a friendly way. This is illustrated by Kayla Heron, who also did the previous book. Her art is really wonderful and inclusive. Every girl will be able to find herself in these pages. It's a fantastic companion to Boy Like You. And it also obviously stands alone. There's also some back matter in the book about being strong and standing up for yourself, and what it means to be a strong girl. Okay, and my next one, this is actually my last one. This one is the 12 Birdies of Christmas. It's the traditional Christmas carol brought to life as 12 birdies count their ways through the 12 days of Christmas. From calling birds using their cell phones to scuba diving swans, this visual reimagining of the holiday song is great fun for the youngest readers. This is a board book, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. This is from Jennifer Sattler as well, who did Unicorn Yoga. She's also done those board books that I mentioned, Jungle Gym and Dirty Birdies, both of which are really fun. Here's Seven Swans of Swimming, super cute.
Sarah,
so this one is a great holiday title for us, a quick, cute board book, really great for the Christmas season. And that is it for me, you guys. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you, Sarah. John, are you back?
I'm back.
Great. Do you guys want to finish out your talk?
I think so. I think
Okay.
we can do that. Dave, are you?
Absolutely.
All right, let me reshare this. Try again. Sorry about that internet, everybody. Dave, it's Steadman.
All right, my next title today is going to be Ralph Steadman, A Life in Ink, which comes to us from our art design and style-focused imprint, Chronicle Chroma. This is a 9x12 hardcover at $60. It comes out October 20th. Ralph Steadman is a Welsh-born, UK-based artist who has been creating groundbreaking art for over 60 years across all forms of media. He's published multiple books. He's created iconic illustrations for publications such as Rolling Stone and Vanity Fair. And of course, he is best known for his collaborations with author Hunter S. Thompson. I think Thompson's gonzo journalism is really one half of Thompson's own words and style and attitude, and absolutely one half of Steadman's visuals and illustrations. His crazy eye-popping ink-splattered technique certainly helped create Thompson's mystique and persona just as much as his own writing did. They, of course, collaborated on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and portions of that are included here. This has his political illustrations, satirical artwork, and some children's illustrations he did for Alice in Wonderland and other kids' books. This is just a great political cartoon book, counterculture history, and for anyone that appreciates outsider art and literature. Back to you, John.
Next up, it's another new one from Living Korea. This time it's a new picture book, graphic novel hybrid.
Hey, John. Hey, John, can you hear me?
The Wanderer is in wordless and incredibly precisely drawn. It's an elaborate tale.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Set in a completely Wonderland version of our own world. Yeah.
Hey, John, I think your connection's pretty bad. I wasn't able to hear really any of that. Are you on Wi-Fi right now, or do you have a landline plugged in?
Oh, I wonder if we lost him again.
Might have lost him. All right. So let's go to our next rep, and I'm going to give John a call and see if we can maybe change the computer he's working off of. If that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Next up, we have Aaron Howe from IPG.
Well, fingers crossed for a great internet connection, I guess. So I just wanted to start by thanking everybody for selling books during a pandemic. I know that all the publishers, both big and small, and authors appreciate that. So thank you. Just a couple of notes of business. There's a promo code for 50% off. That's a 3 special that I have on the screen here. We also changed our terms to $100, which is a value-based minimum versus a quantity-based minimum. So that's new for IPG this season. So I just wanted to touch on that. And if you want to get a hold of me, Larry will share the info. So I'll just get into the titles then. Okay, so I'll be pitching from the Heartland Fall 2020 Forum catalog, which you can see here as our lead on a featured page. You can also find on the independent bookseller tab. And the first book I'm going to talk about is from Lawrence Hill Books, which is an imprint of Chicago Review Press, which is IPG's parent company. And I have an ARC here. And it's called Unext, Reflections in Black Barbershops. And what the book is about is it's a book of photography. So I can go ahead and show you kind of some of the interior slides here. But really, it's a book about culture and community and how barbershops have played a pivotal role in creating sanctuaries for Black men, both young and old. And it's a place where that's egalitarian, that people can kind of go and share feelings. And I think one thing that we've all learned from COVID is how much a haircut can make you feel differently about yourself, right? And so that's kind of where the idea for the book was inspired. So, so this is Unext. It is a hardcover, $26.99, which will be publishing September 1st. And just to kind of touch on a couple other books from Lawrence Hill, which IPG has been distributing for 20 years, over 20 years. We have Asada, which is a classic, and kind of Assassination of Fred Hampton, which are both in stock. So you might kind of recognize the imprint from that. So some great classics. Moving on to The Last American Hero, The Remarkable Life of John Glenn, which is a hardcover publishing in November at $30. John Glenn is just kind of an amazing guy. He's a Midwesterner born in Ohio, where he also served as a senator for 24 years. He was the 3rd American in space, but he also became the oldest person to go into space at 77 years old. This is the definitive biography of John Glenn. There really isn't anything else that's out there. His memoir is over 20 years old. So anyone who's interested in aviation or space or the life of American hero. Okay, and from one American hero to another, we have the biographic Prince. So I think some of you saw the biographic series pitched at Winter Institute by my colleague Lauren Clouda. This is basically a series, which I can kind of show you here and show an interior, that have shiny fold covers. They look great. They're priced $14.95. And they kind of touch on different people, but through a way of infographics. And so, if we see Prince here, you can kind of see it's a vibrant style. It looks great. And then all the things are kind of told with cutouts and biographics. And so it's a really fun, easygoing thing that's armchair read for biographies. New also this season is ABBA. Okay. And then on to You're the Only One I've Told, the stories behind abortia. Dr. Mira Shaw, she is the chief medical officer of Planned Parenthood in Hudson, Peconic. And what she did is she started changing the way she talked about her profession as an abortion provider when she would meet people. And then people started confessing all of their stories to her. And she realized how these stories affected people and how there's all this shame. And so this is a book that is really positioning abortion as a human right. It features stories that are anonymous, of course, from people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. And just an important book. It also got a starred Kirker's View and a fantastic PW review. So an important book for the season. Okay, next up is TMI, My Life in Scandal by Perez Hilton, which is a hardcover, 240 pages, $26.99, publishing in October. And it's exactly what you think it is. I think when you see this cover, you understand. I mean, I think we all know who Perez Hilton is, so you get the latest gossip that he hasn't used in his columns from his blog, but, you know, on Lady Gaga, Amy Winehouse, Kim K, different people, but also kind of like, he talks a little bit about his life, his upbringing, and his transition after he kind of was outed for being so cruel, really. So it kind of touches about that. So it's a little bit of salacious and a little bit of heartfeltness. Okay, and then we have Coffee Days and Whiskey Nights by Cyrus Parker. This is a really interesting poetry book that is black and white kind of featured. It's kind of sparse poetry. It's Parker's 5th book. And it's just really beautiful, and the writing's really elegant. So any kind of fans of this contemporary poetry, the kind of instant poetry, they'll like this. And a little note of fact, his wife is Amanda Lovelace, who is pretty famous as well. Okay, and then I think a lot of us are familiar with the Impossible food brand. We have their cookbook. And it features 40 recipes from very famous kind of chefs. But it not only talks about the food, it kind of talks about the culture and the lifestyle and the inspiration for the book, which you can see here in this Questlove quote, which he talks about. The best cookbooks have recipes and ideas. This cookbook thinks hard about the relationship between plants and the planet, between humans and other living beings, all while making that hard thinking easy for the rest of us. So it's a book not only with recipes and how to cook with their products, but also a little bit about what they do for the environment. And I don't have a cover because the cover is yet to be revealed for this, but Terry Goodkin sold, over 25 million copies. We have the continuation of the Sword of Truth series, the saga. We have books 1 through 5, and coming out February 4th is going to be this collection of the first 5. And so that's what this book is, which is the Children of Vahara collection. So it's for the fantasy lover for you. It's a great gift item. Okay, and then we have an Ohio publisher with Ohio illustrator author. Kind of one of the things that's most notable from this team is that the illustrator, you might remember from Mr. Pumpkin's Tea Party, it's Erin Barker. So she's the illustrator of this new one called Baby Monster. And Baby Monster is just this really fun, cute, playful book about these scientists who end up creating a baby monster. And so you can kind of see here, little monster is rather picky. She'd turn up her snout at food she thought was icky. So it's got a really fun rhyme scheme from Tested and Tried and True duo.
Aaron, you have 1 minute left.
Okay. Well, that takes me to my last title. The last one is Alone Together. I think a lot of people might have been seeing this around in the trades. Really graciously, a lot of regional organizations and elsewhere have been donating gratis advertising for this. This book is a collection of essays and poetry and interviews, and what they kind of talk about is the COVID situation. All proceeds from this book go to bank, so it's supporting independent booksellers, and it's just something that encapsulates our time. So I think I made it. Did I make it, Larry?
Yep, with 16 seconds left. Awesome. All right, thank you, Aaron. Next up, we have Deb Robertson from Gibson House Press.
Hi there. Share. There we go. Well, hello everyone. I'm Deb Robertson with Gibson House Press. We're a traditional press here in Chicago. We publish literary fiction. Very excited and a little nervous. My first time presenting to you August booksellers. We produce a carefully curated list in original trade paperback and ebook formats. We are distributed by IPG, who you just heard from, so you can get all those promo codes and use them for ordering our books as well, and also obviously from all other wholesalers. Again, I'm the publisher, Deb Robertson, and we have on the meeting today also Mary Bisbee Beek, who is our publicist, who's an independent marketing and publicity professional. Oops. The first book I really want to tell you about is our fall book we're really excited about, The Town Crazy by Suzy Roach, who's the co-founder of the iconic trio, the Roaches. The Town Crazy is set in the sleepy town of Hounslow, Pennsylvania, which is a suburban Catholic community, in 1961. It's a novel of passion, absurdity, innocence, and sorrow. A single father moves into town with his young son, which arouses suspicion from the husbands and the interest of the wives. But at the same time, one of the wives seems to be losing her mind, and no one knows what to do. This is a contemporary, often humorous take on a bygone era, and it delves into the terror and cruelty of childhood, the dangerous loneliness of failing marriages, sexual repression and desire, and the intersection of art and religion, all culminating in a tragedy for which everyone in the town bears some responsibility. I hope some of you have heard of Suzy Roach. She's a singer, a songwriter, performer, author, founding member of the singing trio, the Roaches. She's recorded 15 albums, written music for TV and film. She tours extensively when you can go places in the US and Europe. And in addition to The Town Crazy, she's also the author of a novel called Wayward Saints that came out a few years ago. And also a children's book, Want to Be in a Band. She tours with her daughter, Lucy Wainwright Roach, and lives in New York City. This is a compelling, bittersweet novel with memorable characters. And we've gotten some really nice pre-pub reviews. Forward review says The Town Crazy is an absorbing novel about how damaging hasty assumptions and misplaced discretion can be. And we just got a review from Publishers Weekly, which we're super excited about. Roach probes the secrets of a small American town in this immersive, character-driven tale. We are finalizing some of our fall virtual events, so we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us if you're interested in that, in author visits to your book clubs, and we even have a few ARCs left if you're interested. It's also in Edelweiss as a digital ARC. And then since we had our two spring titles come out during the height of COVID, and you may have missed them since we are a small press, I wanted to introduce you to these two titles. The Cold Blast Swim by Junior Burke, which is a sort of noirish book. I love this blurb about it from Alex Cox, who is the writer-director of Repo Man and Sid and Nancy and other films like that. In 1954, the young James Dean shoots Ronald Reagan on live TV. Dumped by the studios, Dean doesn't make giant and isn't killed in a car crash. Instead, he jumps bail, disappears, disastrously impacts lives, and becomes, well, that would be telling. It's entertaining and surprising all the way till the end. This is a really fun alternate history that would make a great movie. I can't recommend it enough. The author has released several albums, one of which was a Bowery Poetry Club Album of the Year. He's written a couple other novels. He lives in Colorado, but he's originally from the Chicago area and lived in Chicago many years. So this is an engrossing alternate history of James Dean with smartly noirish rhythms and a cast of colorful, quirky characters. And our other just out book is We Have Everything Before Us by Esther Spodek. She lives in Evanston, and she, it starts with I guess I'll just quote from one of the describers of this book. Esther Yinling Spodek's sparkling debut novel, Hell is Other People and Sparrows. Bored with her life and lot, Eleanor's thoughts wander to a high school flame. Things come to a head as things are wont to do in this affluent Chicago suburb at a backyard barbecue. Blue skies darken and the violence of a summer storm lays bare the self-doubts and the self-delusions of the very real characters who inhabit this darkly comic send-up of everyday life. This is a really clever novel of domestic life with three women's intertwining lives, which are each at a crossroads. And we do have a wonderful book club ready backlist. And since we're relatively new, I can't help but recommend those for your book clubs. All of our authors are willing to do virtual events and talk with book clubs. I'll give a shout out to Bookies in Homewood and Keith Lewis. Our conclusion, which came out at the end of 2019, was their third best-selling book of the year, even though it was only out 2 months. So we were real excited about that, and it was great that Keith was able to put a little display in the window that showed all the top reads of that year. In the spring, we have a new book coming by Franz Nicolay. He is a musician who's best known probably for the band The Hold Steady. Someone should Pay for Your Pain is about Rudy Pulver, a singer-songwriter in the doldrums of a career as a cult figure. He's been overshadowed by his former protege to the point where he's now identified as an imitator of the younger man. Although he remains generous and supportive, he finds it hard to be grateful. Forced to confront the limitations of her own talent and ambition, his resentment triggers a drug-fueled sexual confrontation that ends in their estrangement. When his niece, a teenage runaway who admires the freedoms of his lifestyle, turns up asking to join him on the road, he has to come to terms with the nature of his obligation to his family and accountability for his past. This is an engrossing and compelling novel that wrestles with the sort of punk ethos, features a punk rock inflected inside look at the life on the road, magical, honest, and pure, but also destructive, dangerous, and out of control. So we're looking forward to that. It is going to be coming out in April, not March, and we're very close to the final cover, so you'll see that soon.
Deb, you have 1 minute.
Okay. We also have a catalog, which we're happy to mail you a print copy or send you a link to the PDF. And you can contact us. These are our emails. Myself and Mary, our publicist. You can contact us for ARCs, for DRCs, if interviews, events, author visits. We also have reading group guides for most of our books that you can download from our website with discussion starter questions. You can subscribe to our mailing list to hear about all these things, our website, and then I think Larry shared the exhibitor page. Thank you so much, Larry. Really appreciate being included today.
Great, thank you, Deb. Next up, we have John Tewsley from Ingram Content Group.
Hey everyone, as Larry said, I'm John Tewsley and I sell the distributed brands at Ingram, including PGW, Two Rivers, Ingram Academic, and IPS. Thank you so much for supporting our incredible indie titles in these difficult times. I do work alongside my esteemed colleagues, Joanna Hines and Betty Redmond. But if you are a store looking for an IPS rep, please contact me and we'll work on getting you signed one. And I'd quickly call out our new +3 stock offer that runs through the fall and ends on December 7th. So please use the promo code TY20 as in thank you, 20 on all your IPS orders on iPage. That said, I'll dive right in and start with some nonfiction picks, starting with Bukowski, A Life. This just released from Black Sparrow Press. Imprint at David Godine, 2 longtime and original indie presses, now with Ingram. Originally published in 1997 and updated with a new intro for the Bukowski Centennial. This is an important literary biography that belongs in every store. Perhaps the Bukowski canon and its misanthropic viewpoint is tough to swallow in a Me Too era overrun by a pandemic, but this biography gives great insight to the man behind the words. He was the people's poet, the proletarian poet. Bukowski would turn 100 on August 16th. One of my favorite Bukowski lines is, "What matters most is how well you walk through the fire." And indies are certainly walking tall through the fire these days. Next up is 7 Kinds of People You Find in Bookshops, coming from David Godine in November. This is from the author of Confessions of a Bookseller and Diary of a Bookseller. The wickedly funny and curmudgeonly Sean Blythe gives wonderful depictions of the unique visitors to his idyllic Scottish store. Beautiful paper overboard format at a great price point, landing in November. This is perfect for bibliophiles across the board. Please have fun with this one. It has loads of social media opportunities. Check out the table of contents to see the complete list of customers, including the expert who may want to help too much, the young exhausted family, the loiterer / bored spouse, and I'd also add the Ingram rep checking stock on its books. The next three titles are Heartland trifecta. All should receive national media attention, but local and Midwest media will be strong. Definite virtual events possible, so please reach out to the specific publisher if you're interested. First up is This is Ohio, coming from Counterpoint in September. This Denison University presser Schuler examines the opioid toll devastating the Buckeye State. I know this news story isn't on the front page, but this crisis continues. Schuler examines the roots of the issues and how brave volunteers band together to offer community-based solutions to the other epidemic still stealing so many lives. Obviously critical to Ohio area stores, this should sell very well throughout the Midwest. I do love the cover, but perhaps they should all be wearing masks these days. I hope readers are ready for an incredible disaster book this fall. For in October, Grove has one called The Chicago's Great Fire. I believe this is an essential Chicago history book and will live along Devil in the White City for a long time as a backlist title. Lots of myths and folklore surround the fire, but barely any of it's true. Noted Chicago historian Carl Smith delivers the real story in a riveting account of the fire and the political and societal battle for the soul of the city afterward. Incredible cover, full of maps and images and reminiscent of other classic American disaster books like the Johnstown Flood and the Worst Hard Time. This is the big burn in the windy city, smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Next up is the title I Was Born to Sell, City of Champions, coming from the New Press in late October. In 2019, the combined records of the Detroit pro sports teams was the worst on record with a total of 226 losses, or 1.6 a day. But it hasn't always been that way. University of Michigan professors Szymanski and Winnick present iconic Detroit sports moments and drill down to the socioeconomic reasons that brought the moment together. Readers will discover how the 2009 Malice at the Palace was tied to the bankruptcy of the city, how the '68 Tigers world champions emerged out of the city's riots, how Joe Louis became world champion boxer despite racial barriers, and so much more. I do think that smart sports books like this have more opportunity this season given the change in sports these days, and this hits that sweet spot. Switching gears to some great fiction and poetry, starting with All God's Children. It's a beautiful paperback original from Europa, landing in October. Gwyn is an American author teaching at the University of North Carolina. And this is a dual narrative of an escaping slave and a gay Texas Ranger. Blurbs are starting to pour in from the like of Nick Arvin, Brandon Hobson, and Smith Henderson. It's a literary Western with echoes of Cormac McCarthy as prize-winning potential. Next up is Home, New Arabic Poems, coming from Two Lines Press in September. I know many booksellers love the first title in their new Calico series called That We May Live, Speculative Chinese Fiction. And this is an excellent follow-up to those interested in translated poetry. I'm no expert at Arabic poetry, but these are beautiful and introduce readers to contemporary voices from across the Arabic-speaking world that are sorely underrepresented in the United States. A lovely paperback package and bilingual. It's a must-have for your poetry section. Cathedral, coming in January from Europa. It's a beautiful cover, hardcover format, and perfect read for a polar vortex. Hopkins is a screenwriter and filmmaker, and this first novel is definitely cinematic in scope and feel. Far better than the new Ken Follett book, which I read at the same time. This is building up to be a major title from Europa. Fans of Umberto Eco and Hilary Mantel will enjoy. I would even say it has a real Game of Thrones feel to it.
John, you have 1 minute.
Milk, Blood, Heat. This is from Grove, my favorite debut collection of stories in the last few years. Grove won this in a heated auction, and we're all excited for this February release. Moniz is an African-American writer based in Jacksonville, Florida. And if you need a warm up in that polar vortex, this will do the trick. Incredible, heart-wrenching stories about teen depression and suicide, miscarriage, and religion, gut punches in a good way and perfect for readers of Girl, Woman, Other. Blurbs are building, but Lauren Goss says it best. Moniz sings of Florida, girlhood, family loss, and the glorious, ecstatic, devastating human body in Milk, Blood, Heat, a gorgeous debut from a wickedly talented new writer. And I'll end with what may be one of the biggest books of 2021, The Committed. This is the sequel to The Sympathizer, coming in March. Just as good, if not better, much tighter and more accessible, but still very dark and a challenge to read during a pandemic. I am hopeful Viet joins the likes of Whitehead, Updike, Faulkner, and Booth Tarkington in winning his second Pulitzer Prize for this. We have signed cartons for this, and galleys are starting to arrive. Thanks again for your time and your continued support of our great indie titles.
All right, thank you, John. Next up, we have Michael Lutz from Phoenix International Publications.
Almost there, guys. Okay. All set. My name is Michael Lutz. I'm from Phoenix International. I'm Vice President of Sales here. And I am really thankful that Larry reached out to us. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited and definitely appreciate the invitation. This is really our first inroads to talking to independent booksellers. And as someone who's been in publishing all my life, and to be in this position right now to talk to people that are passionate about books, I'm excited to show you our offerings. Obviously, it's going to be different because we are more of traditionally, we've been more of a mass publisher and a lot of license-driven books, but I've picked out what I feel are our best titles, and we'll look at them and go from there. So let's get started. We're based here in Chicago. We are an international publisher. We're one of the top 6 publishers in the world. And we sell everywhere. And at this point, for you to get a hold of our books would be through traditional wholesalers. Also, you can go through Hachette Book Group direct, but you can always contact me and my contact information is available. I always joke that we're a 40-year-old startup. We've been around for 40 years. A lot of people don't know who we are. But if you think about all the sound books that are out there and all the look and find books, that's us. So real quickly, we're committed to engaging, educating, and entertaining young readers to encourage a lifelong love of story time. We create priceless moments that are chances for families to come together and share the love of reading. Stories provide a unique, interactive reading experience that will delight and inspire for story time, cuddle time, and bedtime. So we have to get the kids early so we have those for future readers. We have 4 imprints. PI Kids handles most of the books you'll see out at traditional retailers. Sunbird Books is a new line of books that are proprietary and some various authors that we're reaching out to. Sequoia Children's Books is an imprint devoted to reading, early learning, creative thinking, and activities. And then Cardinal Media is an international aspect imprint here where we're reaching out and using authors from all over the world. The first title here I want to talk about is Beasties Love Booties. So it's a jacketed hardcover picture book. It's dogs, it's fashion, and it's Chicago. Well, the artwork is incredible with this book. A lot of things you'll be familiar with as far as Chicago, but you can't go wrong with dogs and fashion. So this is something we're pretty excited about, and this will be available in September. The Mouse Before Christmas. This is written by Tracy Turner, illustrated by Jenny Lovely. She's been an award-winning Waterstones Children's Book Prize for the girls. This is a new take on The Night Before Christmas with mouses and beetles and things like that. So the artwork on this is incredible, and we're really excited to have this for holiday next year, or this year. I don't even know what year it is. You're selling so many different things here. A book in 4 languages. Now we have 4 titles now, 2 that are available right here in September. And this takes on English, Spanish, French, and Mandarin. As a parent of 2 9-year-olds right now, it's amazing how many languages they're going to know before they're 10. So as the schools start to reach out and push that, these books will be perfect, getting kids ready for school. V is for votes. This is an important milestone here, 100 years of the female suffrage in the United States in 2020. So I think this is a title that we're going to be very interested in pushing. I know we're looking at getting some PR behind this, and more to come on this, but this is something that we're really excited about. And we have our first inroads into graphic novels. It's her story. So the first one coming out of the gate will be Rosa Parks, just in time for Black History Month. This is available in December. And then the second offering will be Marie Curie. And you know, this is something that we have not done before, but the artwork and the people supporting this behind us really have us heading in the right direction. This is a line of books that came to us out of from the international group. This is our Cardinal Media. These are called Hopeful Picture books. A lot of these hit right on what's happening right now. Kids staying at home, a lot of cute stories. There's actually one about a mask. So there's something there that really tie in with what's going on. These are all soft cover picture books. This is a new series. I think there's a lot of fun with something like this, and it's called the first book of series. The first one's called My First Book of You. So stinky skunks, slimy worms, scary spiders. Have lots of icky fun learning with this board book. The second one, and this is right along all the questions I get at home from my kids, but My First Book of What Is This? We actually had this conversation the other day about what a CD is. What is a cassette? So it's going back and analyzing what we used to talk about. What's a phone? I mean, the phone is much different than it was many years ago. So this is the kind of thing that'll hit on this for younger kids. Our Let's Go series. This is a new series also offered by Sequoia, and we have to go somewhere. So let's go to these places, and hopefully we get to go to all of them real soon. And I think this takes us into these places and shows us an opportunity to tell kids that here's the fire station, here's the school, here's the library, and here's the zoo. This is the big one for us. We all grew up with this book. I've sold it over my 30-year career at many companies. The monster at the end of this sound book now. This will be dictated by Grover. You can't beat that. Grover will be speaking. So get your copies and get them early on this one. My First Stories, we're really excited by this partnership with Disney. We have a long relationship with Disney, but they came to us to bring these storybooks.
Michael, you have 1 minute.
Yep, out to retail. So as we move forward, you'll see a lot of different things from us. Here's another series from the Disney Growing Up stories, and these are novelty board books. And then these are 8x8s. We're all familiar with 8x8s. With this series, think Berenstain Bears, think Mercer Mare, and that's what they're doing with the Disney characters with these books. This is what we're known for. 30 years is our anniversary next year of Look and Finds. We have all types of offerings. There's all kinds of anniversaries going on and all kinds of hot licenses. This is our first Look and Find for younger kids. These are padded board. So you'll see Blue's Clues. If you stay around long enough, everything comes back. That's back. And finally, just to show you, this is what we're known for. We have Me Reader tablets. We have, Eric Carle sound books. We have I'm Ready to Read, which are leveled readers. And then we have sound books that teach kids how to go potty. So just to wrap it up, we're an international company. It shows all the different offices we have. And I think I got it in, but thank you guys. And I appreciate you hanging with me. A little nervous on this one, but hopefully I got my point across. Thanks for all your help.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
John, are you back?
I'm here, and Dave has the slides, so we're going to try to wrap this up.
All right, great. John, you have 30 seconds.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you have 4 minutes.
Come on. We were talking about the one when I got disconnected last time. It's just an elaborate tale set in a completely inventive Wonderland version or Unworld. It shows us a journey of one brave little paper boat across wild seas, past reefs and icebergs, near terrifying sea monsters, before the boat finally makes it home to its home port. Dave, you want to take a book?
Yeah, I'm going to go on to my next title now. I am presenting Chinatown Pretty by Andria Lowe and Valerie Yu. This is a $24.95 hardcover with an on-sale date of September 22nd. Chinatown Pretty captures the street style of senior citizens across 6 North American Chinatowns: San Francisco, Oakland, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and Vancouver. This book, which is 5 years in the making, chronicles their creative style and their life wisdoms, along with histories of each regional Chinatown. Images here give only a peek at these amazing fashions, these unique looks, and creative spirits of all these sartorial seniors. This is Humans of New York meets Iris Appel in Chinatown. Back to you, John.
Okay. We've got In Wildness is the Preservation of the World by Elliot Porter and Henry David Thoreau. How easy is this book going to be to hand sell? This book was originally published in 1962, and it's often cited as one of the very first coffee table books. Sierra Club's David Brower had the original idea of a series of books that combined nature photography and writings on nature. Well, originally published in 1962, or recently published in 2012 by Emma Books. It's now back in print with Chronicle for just $24.95.
Okay, thank you. My next title here, switching gears completely. This is called My Little Occult Book Club by Stephen Rhodes. This is a pitch-perfect parody of a 70s, 80s era kids book club catalog that is darkly funny and a twisted treat for budding necromancers, occultists, teenage werewolves, and more. There are satirical covers throughout for books such as Let's Summon Demons, Sell Your Soul, Economics for Children, Necromancy for Beginners, and something, of course, that I have much personal experience with, Caring for Your Demon Cat. Also included are puzzles, activities, and a fold-out poster. There is so much hilarious detail and black humor bubbling up in every page here. This will appeal to vintage horror nerds, such as myself, VHS and analog enthusiasts, such as myself, and anybody that enjoys retro-flavored pop culture favorites like Stranger Things or It. And back to John.
Next up is Unfamiliar Familiars, Extraordinary Animal Companions for the Modern Witch. Authors Megan and Justin have combed the wild worlds of the internet and the animal kingdom to bring us unfamiliar familiars, combining our universal love, right, of all things witchy with the most totally adorable animals. It's helpful for witches who are tired of the same old black cats, as well as stylish modern witches who want to be out on the cutting edge of trendy familiars. A handy flowchart will help readers figure out which new familiar they should be choosing. Perfect for fans of Sad Animal Facts or Field Guide to Dumb Birds.
All right. And for my final pick today, I'll be talking about 100 Cookies by Sarah Kieffer. This releases on August 25th. It's the ultimate cookie cookbook featuring, that's right, 100 cookies across 7 different categories, including classics, bars, brownies, and blondies, fruit cookies, and more. Sarah is the creator of the Vanilla Bean Baking blog, and she is based in Minneapolis. You may have heard of the pan banging method in cookie baking. This is a clever trick that encourages crispy edges and soft centers. Well, Sarah originated that technique, and she shares her multiple recipes that use it here, as well as other innovative techniques. Today, at home, we've made both the crispy oatmeal chocolate chip and the Neapolitan recipes, and both of which were absolutely delicious. Drool-worthy photos are featured throughout. Almost every recipe has a photo, and the chunky square trim size gives this a really fun, gifty appeal. And now back to John.
John, you have 1 minute.
All right, I can do it. Our last book is The Flavor Equation from Nick Sharma. His last book with Chronicle was Season in 2018, which was a New York Times Best Cookbook. The Flavor Equation pulls together the same stunning photography and more than 100 inventive recipes Nick's approach is similar to best-selling cookbooks like Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, and Food Lab. It breaks down skills and thought processes of high-level cooking for everyday food lovers. Nick has just started his new run as a food columnist for the New York Times, and this one's going to be featured in Blume Holiday Catalog. That is pretty much it for us. Thanks for hanging in there with my problems with the internet.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
All right, that wraps it up for today. Just to mention a couple things. All of the links for today's Edelweiss collections will be available on heartlandfallforum.org under the Rep Picks page. As well, you will be sent an email this Friday that should have all of this week's videos, our education session from yesterday, today's Rep Picks, and then tomorrow our 1 p.m. Meet the Authors. Yep, that's a reminder, 1 p.m. Central to 2 p.m. Eastern. We have 10 authors tomorrow for our Meet the Authors session. I also wanted to mention, check out on heartlandfallforum.org the exhibits page. Many of our publishers have exhibits pages up with links to Edelweiss collections, YouTube videos, presentations, and any specials they have going on. So please check that out. That being said, thank you all for coming. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.